You're going to hear a roar of the crowd, and believe me, you will never, ever forget it. Are you ready? Count it down. Ready? Okay, here we go now. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Today's lecture is about...
Of course, you should know who I am. Brian the Butcher Brown. Joined by BillBrown1 as always. What's up, BillBrown1?
Hello there, Butcher.
What's going on?
How's it going tonight? You know, same old.
Of course, yes. Remember the call number 347-326-9741. 347-326-9741. Remember, give us a call if you got something to say to us, if you got some MMA to chat, or, of course, if you are calling us with a heavy heart because, America's oldest, most paralyzed teenager died today.
I must say, what a classy tribute you did have for him during the intro sequence there.
Thank you. Thank you. I even got the sad music to finish up the intro.
Oh, yeah, I know. That was... that took us all the way through the game over screen right there. So that was, that was very fitting. I mean, the thing is, don't get me wrong, okay? Dick Clark's been around forever, and I remember him more really from the $10,000 Pyramid back when Nana used to
Great
be
show.
In charge of watching us two idiots
Great
all
fucking
day.
show.
Than anything else. But let's face it, really that guy died 8 years ago when he had that massive stroke and then, ended up becoming a shell of himself. So, I was looking at Facebook all day with everybody on, I'm so sad that he's dead. It's such
I love that shit.
No, it's not. No, it's really not. The man was 82, and he's been a shell of himself. Yes, he's been a shell of himself for the last 8 years. He probably was looking for somebody to off him for the last 8 years,
Yeah.
So good for him. He's finally gotten the punch out. So
yeah. I wouldn't blame him, but you brother, you brought up pyramids, and I think that brings up an interesting point. Because I know. Segue. Well, it's sort of not really a segue because it's sort of attached to the same topic. But how everybody's been going nuts, with the whole Mayan 2012 thing. Obviously, there can't be a new year without Dick Clark, can there be?
Oh, look at you. Wow. Check that out. That's right. The Mayan calendar, 2012,
Pyramid.
End of the world, and now there's no Dick Clark to bring in the new year.
It's official, people. Fucking max out those credit cards. Fucking buy whatever you want. Have unprotected sex and get as much AIDS as possible because it's over, baby. No Dick Clark, no new year. The world is coming to an end. Woo!
Look at you, acting like a scientist over there, putting 2 and 2 together and making 5.
Exactly. That's what I came up with. 5, actually 5.5. But, I digress. But, it does make for an interesting topic, which, I'm going to start that on the message board for all these fucking ham and egger knuckle draggers out there that love to attach these theories, And so now they'll be like, see, it's happening! It's happening! And I want to be the one who starts it, because I have not successfully started a rumor yet in my life, and this will be the one.
Wow. It's always good to have a goal. And if your goal is to just stir up a shitstorm of idiots and mouth breathers that are now going to latch on to Dick Clark's passing as a sign of the impending apocalypse, then, more power to you. And,
not just a sign, Billy. It's in the writings.
Nostradamus said a very old teenager will pass, and then so will the world.
Exactly, and it's all, and the Mayans do have like a fucking hieroglyph or whatever the hell they wrote in, because obviously hieroglyphs are other people, but whatever. I don't know what their fucking language was. There was a picture of a giant ball above a city dropping, signaling the end of the world, which obviously without Dick Clark to bring it in, that's going to be the end of the world.
Wow.
See?
Look at you.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know.
That's,
I made that up.
You did. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, you could have sold that one to me. You didn't have to come clean like that because I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to go fact checking.
I'll be honest to you. I'm not going to be honest to any of these other simps out here. Let them believe what they want to believe. Okay. So that's between me and you. Don't tell anybody.
I won't.
Okay,
I won't
but I did make that piece up.
All right. Shh. It's on the DL.
Shh, everybody, be quiet. This is just between
you and us.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's all I figured we'd come on the air and report because Steve has once again been Judas. I'm going to change the what do you call it, episode info from now on to sometimes Judas shows up and betrays us immensely. So that's, I guess maybe he'll call in later. I don't know. We'll find out. If he does call in, maybe I won't take his call. How about that?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That's how I feel about this whole thing. But
harsh.
Other than that, I guess we'll figure something to talk about. There's not a whole hell of a lot of shit going on. Of course, I might pull up the Bellator card for later on. We might go over that if we, if we get to it. Because it seems like even when we have intentions to talk about that, we don't get to it. But of course. Yeah. The biggest story and one that we keep going back to, even on the other show, is, Alistair Overeem and his, actually, I don't want to keep calling it a positive drug test. I'm going to call it his ridiculous testosterone ratio test, because technically he hasn't tested positive for any drugs, just his testosterone ratio is
You were all of a sudden apologetic, and it's probably because the MMA media, which I think that actually technically includes us two clowns, got a nice little verbal lambasting by one Mr. Chael Sonnen recently.
Well, yes, and I had already started backpedaling, but I am going to play his quote. And we can comment on it. But I already started, not the backpedaling, I still will go on record and say, I've been making the jokes about the Alistair Overeem horse meat diet and all that kind of crap for a while now. Anybody who's got eyeballs sees what's going on. But it is true, that other guy, Schiavalo and stuff, started fucking talking about this stuff. And yeah, you're right, Chael brought it up as well. Technically, it's not a positive test, so I'm going to play his comment, and then we can judge and see. This is a man who, if everybody remembers, his elevated testosterone level was 19 to 1.
See me, if you can.
Congratulations, MMA media. Right when I think your incompetence cannot get to any higher level, the Alistair Overeem story comes out. From you kids on the interwebs running your little .coms from the couch in your mother's basement to you beneficiaries of Mark Cuban's tax write-off, you've gone and screwed up the Alistair Overeem case beyond all belief. Is it repairable? I doubt it. Hey, if I'm a member of the media and somebody tells me that Alistair Overeem failed a drug test, the very first thing I'm going to say is, really? What substance did he test positive for? And you see, those basic questions are where the wheels begin to fall off the bus to this entire story. Alistair Overeem did not test positive for anything. End of story. So why is his name getting drugged through the mud? Why are they saying, well, he's got an elevated TDE ratio? Okay, fair enough. Let's say his TDE ratio is outside the norm. That's not illegal. That's outside the norm. That's a red flag. That is a red flag, and Alistair will owe an explanation. If it's not against the rule, why are we having this conversation? MMA media, you failed. It reminds me of a time when Ronald Reagan was president, and somebody in his cabinet had to stand trial. He gets acquitted, and he says, well, great, I've won the trial, but who do I see to get my reputation back?
UFC tonight.
He's got a point. He does have a point, but what do you think of those comments? This is a man, by the way, as I stated before I played the comment. And don't get me wrong, I like Chael. And obviously I was never as hard on Chael when he showed up with his 19 to 1 levels as I've ever been on Overeem. But Overeem's transformation is absolutely ridiculous. But, he does have a point about him not actually testing positive. What do you got to say to all that, Billy?
Look, first of all, okay, obviously Chael is still basically beating his own damn drum because the last time he took a piss test, they basically had to send in a damn hazmat team. That's how hot he pissed, okay? I mean, this is the whole reason for this guy even to bring this up. Okay, yes, technically, is he right? Yes, technically he's right. Alistair Overeem did not test positive for a substance. They didn't test him for a substance. Matter of fact, that's the whole point of taking the A and B samples. All right, they could have done what's called a what is it? The carbon isotope ratio test is what it's called. Yes, thank you. See, I've actually done a little show prep, sir.
Well, hello, Dr. Brown. What's going on over there?
Now,
you wearing your lab coat tonight as well? Because
I do.
It sounds like you might be.
I've got the glasses. I've got the pocket protector on. I've got the white lab coat. That's right. I am doing
and nothing else,
the
ladies, and nothing else.
Naturally. But anyway, the carbon isotope test. Basically, what that would do is find out if the testosterone in his system is synthetic or not. Okay,
right.
Which, if it wasn't, if this was somehow some natural high levels of testosterone in the man's bloodstream, he could have just had that test done on the B sample and said, oh, you know what, I've got 4 nuts. I didn't tell anybody about this. I have 4 times the amount of testicles than the normal man, so I have, 14 times the amount of testosterone as the normal man. I mean, I've never had this result before, so I just must be pumping it out, like crazy right now. But if it was a natural testosterone, then he could have just had that test done and said, look, my body's just producing, more testosterone than normal. So the fact that he didn't have the B sample tested for the, with the carbon isotope test, leads me to believe that, it would at least show up as TRT, okay, that it is a synthetic testosterone. But Chael is basically hanging on to the same sort of technicality that Chevalo guy, was hanging on. Chael's technicality is a little bit better than Chevalo. Chevalo's saying, oh, he got caught cheating 2 months before the fight, so it's really not cheating. Okay.
Exactly.
What Chael is saying is that, no, he tested for high levels of testosterone. He didn't test, they didn't find steroids in his blood. They didn't find, these chemicals in his blood.
Any of that stuff.
Right. So, so his technicality is a little bit better, but it's still, again, unless you're some sort of mutant that's producing 14 times the normal amount of testosterone, it's not going to be there naturally. All right.
Well,
so, yeah, you got it.
That's true. That's true. I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but I did a little bit of research. Not like you. I would have never been able to come up with carbon, whatever it was, carbon dating or whatever you said.
Carbon isotope ratio test.
That's what I said. Carbon isotope radius something. Yes, it's exactly what I said, Billy. I don't know why you have to correct me all the time. But I also was reading because his own brother, who I know they're very close, so I don't think Valentine would be throwing his baby brother under the bus, because the only reason why Valentine keeps getting fights anywhere is because his last name happens to be Overeem, okay? Mm-hmm. I believe he's like 29 and 26 in his career, and his kickboxing record isn't that respectable either. But when they interviewed him, he said he doesn't understand it. He doesn't think his brother needs TRT treatment. He's pretty sure that if his brother needed that, he would have been told, which, so something's going on here, because I don't see his own brother trying to throw him under the bus like, hey, yeah, leave some suspicion out there that this guy's using something, he, of course, mentioned in his interview that, even if it was something with TRT and all that, doesn't necessarily mean that he even took anything. He could have a low estrogen rate, which all of a sudden throws the numbers out of whack. And, again, he feels he would know that, but, apparently if you have a very low estrogen rate, which, is what the T and the E ratios are, you can be bounced up. Your testosterone can get out of whack, too. So I thought that was interesting. Now, I'm not letting Alistair go with the cheating, but I just wanted to throw that in to see if you read that, too, about the estrogens.
Yeah, no, I had I had read that as well, but you see, the thing is that guys also use a synthetic estrogen as a performance enhancer as well.
It's for tits?
Oh, yeah. It's yes, exactly. That's what they want. They're trying to grow tits. No, and it's similar. Yeah, it's similar to just doing a regular steroid cycle. That in the right dosage, and if cycled properly, it does. It is known as a performance enhancer. Okay, so it's one of those things that guys who don't want to get busted for steroids, it's just one of those things. Yeah, now they're instead of abusing testosterone replacement therapy, they're going to the other side and using synthetic estrogen essentially to try and help.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So even if that's the case, if his natural estrogen levels are out of whack, it's probably because he's trying to get around the whole HGH steroid testing too. So even that can be caused by, again, abuse of the other substance as well. So.
I did not know this. See, I didn't look that far. I was just, I was reading a couple snippets here, a couple snippets there, and then I thought that was interesting. I also disappointed myself because I forgot to get Kenny Florian's response to the Chael Sonnen thing, because pretty much Kenny just said it like this when they ran that Chael Sonnen clip. He said, "Listen," he goes, "a regular man's fucking testosterone to estrogen rating is 1-to-1. Alistair Overeem came up at 14-to-1. He said, which, if I'm an educated man, I'm going to say that he's using something, okay, which is exactly what's going on here, and that's what needs to be found out. The guy has to be on something, okay. End of story is what Kenny Florian said. He said, "Listen, I could probably extend my career by 20 fights if I want to use this stuff, because I could train harder, I could train longer, I could heal quicker." He goes, "But I'm not going to do it." He goes, "I might have to face retirement, sooner rather than later." Of course, because we all know Kenny's retired. He just doesn't know it yet. Oh, poor Kenny. Kenny, on the other hand, though, as much as I love him and I'm a big fan, I think Kenny could use a little bit of that TRT, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe he might not come up short in those title fights.
Well, you see, now he's gonna swing off of that. Now he's gonna be like, hey, with guys like Overeem and these other fighters now maybe this is what's going to keep him from retiring. Now maybe he's going to be like, you know what, all of those times that I basically came up wanting in the big fight, it's probably because those guys were juicing. And,
you're not a choke artist, Dana.
I'm not a choke artist. Look, those guys are definitely cheating. Look at that.
Those jerks.
Yeah.
Those jerks.
So yeah, I don't know. I think Chael is, while I'm very entertained by most things that he says, and even the way that he phrases this little tirade is funny. It's just he's still trying to show how innocent he was with his whole TRT thing when he, basically burned down an entire facility when he took his last urine test.
Well, the funny thing is how he had to fucking completely about face, because when it first happened, he attacked Overeem, and then Mayhem Miller got on his case, which I do believe, Chael Sonnen definitely won that Twitter war, even though Mayhem is still firing jabs. But, Mayhem had to remind him how, he had 2 bull elephants level of testosterone into his system. So, Chael first did attack Overeem. So for him to sit up there and of course he's entertaining. I definitely like the guy. I can't wait for his fight with Anderson, for the rematch. Let's see if he can do it without any sort of extra help, and if he can implement the same game plan and do it again. But, this is a complete about face from his first initial comments, which, of course, I didn't write down. I wish I remember what it was. But he did come out and attack Overeem. And now all of a sudden it's, hey, you jerks in the media, fucking, telling this guy that he's a piece of shit and a cheater. Well, he did the same thing. Come on, let's be honest here.
Absolutely. Yeah, he definitely did. I mean, especially, number one, even if he was allowed to be on it, which, okay, fine, he's on the testosterone replacement therapy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He didn't disclose it beforehand, you know.
Right.
So, right there. You know, he didn't disclose it. Well, actually, I think, doesn't he claim that he told somebody just before the fight or something? You know, but he didn't say it on his application or anything like that. So.
Right. He never filed properly for it, and then he came and said, I got to let you guys know
this. Might come up.
Yeah. It was so close. You know, they already done the pre-fight piss test, and the fight was probably like 8 hours away at this time. So they just let it go on and waited for the results of the piss test because, you know, he could have not told them, and the same shit would happen with the piss test. So, you know, I think the guy did admit, I think it was Keith Kaiser, I can't remember 100% if it was the head of the athletic commission or not, or maybe somebody who supposedly works directly under Keith Kaiser. But, you know, they did say he did say it, but the fact of the matter is they also said in that conversation he wasn't as honest as he claims to be, and yada, yada, yada. If you remember, they were really going to try to come down heavy on him, and then they kind of pulled back on that because they felt he was lying, you know, about certain conversations and stuff, because he was adding things to the conversation, saying certain people on the commission said things that they didn't, so they were going to try to fucking make his suspension longer. But, you know, you're right, though. This is for him to try to go, you know, everybody keeps bringing up my test years later, so maybe I'm going to come out and let everybody know it isn't technically illegal to test that high on testosterone.
Leave Alistair alone. Leave Alistair alone. He didn't. My buddy. You know, testing high isn't against the law. It's not against the rules.
Right. No. So there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I have this, I'm sure you listen to the Monday show, but I just think Alistair's going to skirt this thing. I think the main event's going to happen. You know, I think there's several different ways that he can go about it and have it, you know, come out in his favor. And what Chael brought up today, I didn't even think of that the testosterone level technically isn't illegal, you know, and they've never asked for the B sample to be tested, probably because, like what you said, if they test it and actually come up with a positive for something, you know, that's worse than just fucking going, listen, I need this, you know, and this is why, or whatever their argument's going to be, because technically he's not licensed. And, you know, even though he was supposed to adhere to random drug testing because of the whole fiasco with the Brock fight, he's not technically licensed by the state of Nevada. So can they really impose these sanctions on him, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Have you also read that apparently, like, what other things might cause a high T to E ratio? Apparently, alcohol
really
can actually cause that. That alcohol consumption can lower.
It up?
Actually, it decreases your epitestosterone. So but you see, basically, you know, Overeem would have had to have had like about 120 proof, like 5 shots of 120 proof liquor, you know, like just before the piss test or something like that, you know, to do something like that. But you know, it's
had such a low epitestosterone rating when I was a drinker. Must have none of it in there.
Must have none at all. That's why you used to go on rampages through Red Bank, right? Because your testosterone was through the roof and your epitestosterone was in the basement. So
I never put 2 and 2 together till now.
Yeah, basically, supposedly, consumption of alcohol can lower your epitestosterone levels, which would then make your T to E ratio out of whack. But again, you know, of course, being it's Overeem, I'm trying to find the article that I read earlier today because it literally made me laugh out loud, and because yes, that made me LOL, and that's not LOL, that's ELOHEL.
Oh my God!
Yes, but basically, you know, it was somebody was bringing up what you love to bring up all the time, is that how back in the Pride days, how what Overeem used to look like, and he's like, yeah, sure, you know, I mean, I guess it's conceivable for somebody to put on, you know, almost between college and his pride days like 75 pounds of solid muscle. But for 30 of that to end up in your head, that's just not natural. I don't know any exercises that can put 30 pounds of muscle in your head. So
yeah, his fucking head is gargantuan now compared to what it used to be. It's just ridiculous. The guy looked like the human fungo bat, for God's sake. But can we all be realistic here? He definitely has been using steroids. Even if he's not guilty now, somehow this is just a weird test. At some point, this motherfucker was on roids.
Look at all the major athletes that have been popped for steroids, for Christ's sake. I mean, look at Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and all of those idiots in baseball.
Well, Barry Bonds was never officially popped, Billy. He just came out at the Balco thing. They were like, yeah, we were giving this fucker designer steroids that could never be shown up on drug tests. And then he had to just be like, you motherfuckers, I'm retiring.
Yeah. But but look at them when they started their careers, and they're all these, normal-sized dudes. And then by the time that they end up, in front of a panel of people, trying to testify whether or not they actually had taken any banned substances, they have heads that seriously put mine to shame. And you're talking to a guy who you're talking to a guy right now who literally, with the football helmets back in high school, everybody's helmet had a number on the back that went up to about 8.5, and then they had to get my friggin' head something that just said XL on the inside. Okay,
oh my
I had a mutant head in high school, and I've never had any sort of substance. And these
I was going to say, could you imagine
if
you did take it? You fucking would have to be wearing one of those Bob Big Boy hats out in the football field.
I would look like one of those guys from the remake of what do you call it? The Hills Have Eyes, where I basically just had to have my own little walker for my noggin,
Well, dude, steroids change you so much. I mean, look at Sammy Sosa. When they put him on the stand, he forgot how to speak English because of the steroids, and now he's white and has blue eyes. I dare anybody to look up a recent picture of Sammy Sosa. He's a white man now, and that's all from the steroids. While you're talking, I'm going to look up a picture of Sammy Sosa, his current look, because it is fucking great.
No. Fantastic. So,
I bet you I could just easily get the search down by just putting in white Sammy Sosa. Let's try that. Yeah, there it is. Let me get a before and after for everybody here.
Sammy Sosa. Oh, my goodness. I actually have a before and after.
Oh, you have it?
It's it's the first thing. Hold on. Let me see here. The first thing that popped up.
How fucking great is that?
That's insane, dude. That's seriously, like, what is going on here? I mean, his eye, you can't really tell in the before picture. His eyes are, like, green or something back then, but, Yeah. Hold on. Here we go. It's just for all y'all.
Did you post it?
Yes, it did.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. Because I was going to say, does it show them before and after, just to give everybody a stark contrast?
It's just totally side by. It's like somebody put a carbon copy next to each other. Okay,
literally.
That's basically what it is. Seriously, I don't know what the hell this man. Are you saying that being outside playing baseball, was really that much of the difference?
Well, dude, he had a lot of sun then.
Yeah, but come on. The picture on the right is about as white as I am. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
just insane.
Not possible.
Yeah. So what we're trying to tell all the kids out there: don't do steroids, because if you do, you might turn white, and then life gets easier.
I have that reverse vitiligo. Instead of getting lighter, I get darker and darker as time goes on. It's the most shameful thing. I think I've seen one episode of the Boondocks, and it was, Uncle Ruckus, and I thought he was hysterical.
It's amazing. I always forget to watch it, like when Dean's here on Friday and shit, because we're always just flipping around, and of course that show is just fucking brilliant. It really is hysterical. I should watch it more. It's a shameful thing.
It's just a shameful thing.
So Uncle Ruckus should just get his hands on some roids. He'd be fine.
Maybe, hell.
Oh, jeez.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you had a point to finish. I just wanted to jump in there and bring up the Sammy Sosa white thing.
Oh, no, I was pretty much done.
Okay.
I couldn't re-find my train of thought, because to be honest with you, that's a runaway train anyway, man. It just sort of gets going, and I never know when the hell to stop running my mouth. So I didn't know where I was headed. So it was good you jumped in when you did, because...
Steve's. I think Steve's on the line, Billy. Yo, what's up, dog?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, buddy?
I was calling in to see if you knew where somebody can get steroids, because I'd like my life to be easier, I'll tell you that much.
I'll look into it for you, fella, but I don't know if I could get the good ones, like apparently Sammy's had. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, that's the only reason I'd want them. I mean, I already have a stunning physique. I would just like to, be able to get a cab or get a bank loan or something like that, That's the only reason I take it.
Yeah, you don't want to be like Don Cheadle sitting there just fucking yelling, "It's not fair," when you get turned down for a loan yet again for your record store. That's not fair. That's just not fair.
It's a great Boogie Nights reference.
Thank you. One more thing to load into the shitty fucking program. Boogie Nights references all the way.
Definitely.
I want to kiss you on the mouth.
Let's just rip off sound clips from Opie and Anthony, wholesale,
I could do that. I could do that. That's what, maybe I could look, see if they got a soundboard up anywhere. So what's going on, Steve? You out of work?
No, I'm just got off of work finally and heading back. Figured I'd call in, listening to the show, so.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Do you think
what?
Do you think if we got Steve some steroids, then, Nick would treat him like an actual citizen?
Nick is very shifty like that. He's got a good memory, so I don't know. I have no idea. We might have to just tell him your name's something else. You'll just be Scott from Modesto for real then. That's all.
There you go. Alias. He's got a couple of them. We'll just say, no, this is Captain Solo.
Oh, fuck, that's great. That is fucking great. What do you think about the, how long were you listening, Steve? Did you hear the Chael Sonnen comments and shit?
I heard some of them. I heard some of the ones you were talking about. I jumped on, around 9:50, so 20 minutes after you started.
Nice. We did a Dick Clark tribute because it's a very sad day. Do you know that the world's oldest, most paralyzed teenager died today?
Actually, I did know that, and I'm actually excited for New Year's now. Maybe we can get the countdown done on time.
No New Year's, buddy. The Mayans were right. It's all over. It's fucking all over. No Dick Clark, no New Year.
Although that is kind of disturbing that, this is the year that the Mayans say, and then all of a sudden after 8,000 years, Dick Clark's finally dead.
I know, he was fucking there with them. He helped them write that goddamn calendar
exactly.
he was bitching about.
He's probably the one who told them about it.
That's
where they drew all those pictures of in those caves.
Of course, yeah. The lizard face that pops up everywhere. Obviously, that's Dick Clark's face. Have you looked at that dude?
No, I haven't, because since 2006, I've been flipping away from that countdown. And I'll go to country music television's countdown, rather than watch the countdown on New Year's Rocket Eve.
Why? What are you talking about? He does it perfectly. He does it perfectly. Listen to this. Okay, listen to this.
That's the best part of the show. Him wishing Happy New Year to everybody.
There you go. Listen.
You're going to hear more of it, and believe me, you will never, ever forget it. Are you ready? Count it down. Ready? Are you ready? Okay, here we go now. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year to everyone.
Apparently, it was just a little too rough for co-op radio there.
Jeez. Wow, man.
My IQ dropped 10 points listening to that.
What was that?
So my IQ dropped 10 points listening to that.
Oh, now come on. Come on. I added in the whammy sounds this time. Come on.
Unreal.
Now. But we had one listener check in, Co-op Radio Live, it was called. I didn't even get a chance to say hi to him, and as I was playing Dick Clark, and I hit the whammy button, he logged out. Apparently he hates us.
Well, we're being too shocking.
Well, I bet you he's going to do the same fucking thing on his show. So, you know what? He can just go screw. That's all I'm going to say. Son of a bitch.
Wow.
Sorry about that, Dick Clark.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Unreal.
Oh.
Well, all right.
Steve, you were saying?
No, I don't say anything.
Oh.
No, nothing.
Me either.
Oh. I feel like we've hit a bit of a bump in the road now.
Hit a little bit of a roadblock here.
Oh,
all of a sudden.
Jesus.
So, where do we go from here?
I don't know. Let's see here.
How about this? With all of the talk of Overeem's hearing coming up on the 24th, how Nick Diaz's lawyer was trying to be all tough as shit last week, and basically telling the Nevada State Athletic Commission that they had to put Nick's case on the docket on the 24th, otherwise their suspension of him was null and void, and all this type of stuff. And I was like, wow, this guy's pretty smart, because he's citing a certain statute that the Athletic Commission has, that if they don't hear the case within 45 days of the suspension, it becomes null and void unless otherwise agreed upon by the parties involved, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, shit.
So 45 days was April 6th, okay? But the Athletic Commission had said, you know what, we're not going to meet by April 6th. We'll put it on the docket for, our April meeting. And, Nick and his lawyer said, okay. So now, last week, Nick's lawyer was like, wow, that has to be the 24th, the same day as Overeem's hearing, blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out that I think Nick must be sharing his weed with his lawyer, because this is about the third time that he's come out and said something completely retarded. Because apparently the statute that he's quoting does not actually pertain to the type of suspension that they issued to Nick Diaz. All right.
Geez.
Also, according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they're still waiting for several documents that they've requested from Nick Diaz's camp, including his medical marijuana card. So the reason why they haven't scheduled his hearing is because Nick's side has not provided the medical marijuana card and some other documentation that they had all agreed upon would be part of the hearing. So basically the Nevada State Athletic Commission just told Nick's lawyer to go F himself, and that it will not be happening this month. And I really think that Nick and his lawyer need to stop having their meetings over bong rips, to be perfectly honest.
You could be right about that, Billy, but I'm shocked the medical exemption card hasn't shown up, because in California, a medical exemption card is just scribbled out on the back of a paper bag by some fucking hippie, okay? So they should be able to get that in a day, that one's fine. But as for the demands, it's getting a little ridiculous.
Well, Well, the thing is that if he was even right, okay, it would have been a smart move, all right, because if there was a 45-day period where they had to hear the case, 45 days was up, 2 weeks ago. So trying to force their hands and saying, look, if you don't put us on the docket, then we're just going to assume that your charges are dropped and, my client's no longer suspended. But it basically, again, it's all legalese. It's not a summary suspension. Don't know exactly what that means, okay? But a summary suspension is not the same as a temporary suspension. So because Nick's lawyer, didn't read the law properly, now instead of being a smart man who's, basically issuing demands to the governing body, now he's just a moron who decided to run his mouth. And it's like basically any time that you've had somebody come in and tell you, I know the law, All right, and this guy should know the law because he's supposedly a lawyer, and instead he's just like every moron who ever tried to tell you, you can't do that, that's not legal. And, they've never cracked a book in their life regarding the legal process. So, I get that every day with people debating their contracts with me. So,
Yeah, exactly. See, that's like, what's his name's lawyer on that show that every once in a while you catch me watching. What's his name? The Ewok. Willow. That's
I haven't seen that show.
Oh, yeah. Life's Too Short or whatever, right?
Yeah, I can't remember Willow's real name, though, right now. I figured
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. Yeah, Steve's seen that. I think his accountant's his lawyer, and the guy has no fucking clue. And, he's going through a divorce, so it went great for him. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't watched it, Billy, but it was a pretty fun show. I enjoyed it.
It's one of those things that I go, oh, yeah, it looks like it might be funny, and then I remember that, little people kind of creep me out. So, unless they're wearing an Ewok.
Willow.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, right? Fucking tell him what this guy's credentials, please.
I agree with most of the other ones, but it was Willow.
But Bill, he was in all of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, well, apparently nobody knows him, okay? Nobody knows who the hell he is.
Well, that's because the only role he's ever had that he didn't have 8 tons of makeup on was Willow. And Mom doesn't even remember that friggin' movie. Remember we brought that up at dinner a couple of weeks back? She's like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, Val Kilmer, the little midget that was with him? No, you don't know? Okay.
Yeah, I remember that conversation because I was like, you know what? I know that show's a comedy and it's written, but maybe they really are on something. Maybe nobody knows who Warwick Davis or Willow is.
Yeah, because, come on, he was an Ewok. He was Willow. And then he was the Leprechaun. All right. And then, he was also in the Harry Potter movies, but he was in, as one of the teachers, but he had makeup on, I think, in the first one. And then he didn't have as much makeup on in the subsequent ones. They just sort of, put a stupid mustache on him and flattened his hair down.
He did have the mustache.
Yes, he did have a mustache,
Well, I don't know. I've never seen any Harry Potters, so I'm going to take your word for it that he was in those. And that was he rocking the mustache hard, Steve?
Oh, yeah.
It was like a Freddie Mercury mustache almost.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It had AIDS written all over it. So.
Just getting AIDS caught in the bristles. Oh, poor Freddie Mercury. If there's one thing I can't stand, guys, it's making death jokes. Right?
But yeah, so Diaz's lawyer, though, getting back on track, I mean, he had that brief moment of brilliance, or, until he was completely slapped down by the athletic commission a couple hours later, where I was just like, oh, this guy's not a complete moron, because I think the last thing that he said was, that he was basically taking the athletic commission to task for calling Nick a liar, that he didn't lie on his application. And,
that's right.
Well, I don't know, man. Okay, fine. He's cleared for medical marijuana in California. One of the things on the questionnaire, pre-fight questionnaire, is have you had any prescribed medications in the last 2 weeks? And he answers no. Okay, either you're prescribed to have weed or not, dude. Either you're prescribed. Exactly. I had weed. I had it 8 days ago. So
what's your problem? I got that shit.
So, but that was his big thing prior to that. Was that you can't call my client a liar. Yeah, we can. Lied on the application, stupid.
That's what we're doing. We are calling him a liar, and we're going to continue calling him a liar till you prove otherwise. And the guy just slammed the book closed and fucking ran out.
I would like to call Harry Mason.
Harry Mason? What is this, 1977?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wait, it is.
So.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. I read because I read the first story about his demand. I read it a week late, but I read it earlier today, around 2 o'clock. And then around 5 or so, I read the news story about how, the guy's a moron because it's not even the right law. So
this guy's a simpleton, and he should not be trying to practice law. Unbelievable. Steve, do you get any MMA fighters coming to your store? Where do you work again now? What mall?
Steve, you still there?
Steve. Hello?
I think we lost Steve.
It's still showing him. We're probably having technical problems again.
Steve, we had technical difficulties.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. We lost you there for a second.
Almost.
Because people drove through Franklin's neighborhood. So, yeah, no, I don't know. I hope Diaz's thing goes well, but I don't see him skating by. But I definitely think Overeem's going to skate by on some sort of weird thing. You know, they're going to pull something out of their ass. Yeah, some sort of technicality, or like what Chael brought up today about that somehow not being illegal and them not having the other sample tested somehow, even though because since he wasn't under the license, maybe they'll just go, well, test him now. And they'll be like, well, that's ridiculous, but they'll still do it, and it'll come up clean, and then there'll be that doubt put into everybody's head, and everybody might just chill the fuck out, which, it is what it is. But we all, I don't know which way that's going to go.
I mean, he must be pretty confident.
What's that, Steve?
I said, unless he's, still a moron and still pisses hot, even though he's had all the time to clean up, and somehow he's just got so much in his system that he just can't get rid of it all.
Well, he does kind of look like I don't think he's dumb. He kind of looks like a evil genius, like a movie bad guy sometimes with the faces he makes. So, I think he probably, and you know what? He has pointed to his head before. Nice. After he's beaten people up. So, I don't think he's dumb. I think he knows how to get down and dirty and fucking, skate through things and pull this shit off. I mean, obviously the guy is definitely good at cycling. He just happened to slip up this once. So, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But I know we brought Chael's name into it. I guess we'll talk about this really quick before we hit the break. The Anderson Silva-Chael Sonnen match might get moved now because apparently there's a big UN summit going on at the same time that they have that fight scheduled. I believe it was for June 6th or something like that. So, it's in the works that it might have to move. I don't know if it's going to stay in Brazil or go somewhere else. I think it would have been perfect for them to have the fight with the UN summit there because there's no way that the people are going to rip Chael out of the cage and fucking execute him with something like the UN summit going on. Heightened security all around.
Guards and stuff. Plenty of security around for that.
Yeah, maybe the UFC was planning on that. Maybe they knew that was on the docket down there, and they're like, let's try to fucking sneak it in. This way, we don't have to pay the money for the extra security because everybody will just be on their best behavior anyway.
Nah, I mean, from what I've been hearing, Dana is a little put out that the timing worked out the same way, the way that it had, because they were almost looking to shut down that city that whole weekend that the fight was going on. That
right.
That obviously they were expecting it to be a huge event. Since Silva was going to be defending the title, they basically wanted to make it almost UFC week that entire week. So they wanted pretty much all the fighters down there, like almost a week prior leading up, and they were going to have all these events and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And so now the way everything that they had planned is sort of, basically screwed up because they need all of those hotel rooms for the fighters, hotel rooms for the staff, hotel rooms for people who might not be from the area who want to come in and be a part of it. And now, obviously, there's not as many things, not as many spaces to go around with the UN summit going on that same week. So that whole thing, is basically put on its ass. The fact that Dana wanted it to be all UFC all the time that entire week, So definitely I don't think it was premeditated or planned to be that way. I think, if anything, they're a little annoyed that it ended up that way, because instead of having this huge event, centering around them and centering around, their product, now it looks like you said, that they might have to move it because they're not going to be able to have the sort of fanfare that they wanted to have for this card.
Well, that sounds like somebody just was dumb and didn't do their fucking fact-checking when looking into when they could go down to Brazil, because, I mean, I don't think they do these UN things on short notice, do they? I mean, I'm sure it's a whole hullabaloo because they got to make sure they get all their shit set up, they got to make sure they get all the whores in for all the world leaders and stuff, and, they got to make sure they're procuring all the Colombian cocaine and everything so everybody can have a sweet party down there. So, I mean, it's not like planning doesn't go into this stuff. You know what I'm saying, Steve?
Yeah. I mean, whoever planned it probably thought that, hey, the UFC is more relevant these days than the UN, so, we should get the priority here, because who the hell gives a shit about the UN anymore? What has it done lately to do anything? So, at least UFC entertains people, so they figured, hey, fuck that. The UN gets bumped, not the UFC, but I guess it's not working out that way.
Yeah, I mean, come on, seriously, why couldn't they just, now that this obviously is coming to light now and everything, how about we just do like a one-off, like maybe one of the world leaders or something like that gets matched up against somebody, maybe they get Idi Amin in there against, I don't know, like Big Ben Rothwell or something, Idi Amin's still in charge, correct?
I have no idea, to be honest.
No, he's not. He's been exiled. I was just kidding. Just a nice, sweet name to pull out of the crowd, that's all. Where is he? Where is he?
I think the last head of the UN that I knew...
What's up?
I think the last head of the UN that I remember, his name was Boutros Ghali. Only because that was an awesome name. But other than that, I don't really know who's in charge of the UN.
Boutros, whatever his name was. I can't remember. Wasn't it 3 Boutroses?
I think it was just the 2. But
it was just the 2, really?
Yeah.
See, I was watching the Ali G show when he interviewed him, and I believe he just fucking went on with the Boutroses. That's what confused me.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, it's Ali G, for fuck's sake, so.
Sure. They let him in the UN, so.
So this is what Dana said about the whole UN conference fiasco thing. He says, we're waiting to hear back from city officials. We're trying to figure this whole thing out. The problem is, first of all, they don't like the idea of us coming in at the same time as this United Nations convention is going on. The other problem is hotel rooms. Most of the hotel rooms are being taken up. We know that the Chael Sonnen Anderson Silva fight is one of the biggest sporting events this year in the world. So we need to make sure there's room, especially when you're doing an 80,000-seat soccer stadium. There better be some hotel rooms. Hopefully we'll get this thing done in the next few days, one way or the other. So, again, like you said, it seems like somebody dropped the ball when they were scheduling this. Whether it was... the soccer stadium officials going, shit, yeah, have it here, on this date, and by the way...
You're so stupid!
Sorry.
But I mean, hey, if if the fight has to be moved to somewhere else, good for Chael. He might live to fight another fight if he ends up taking the belt. So, hey, maybe that might be a good thing. At least for Sonnen.
It could be, but you know me, I always liked the fucking ultimate bad guy angle, and it would have just been so awesome if Chael somehow took out the middleweight champion of the world, Anderson Silva, after the beating he put on him last time, losing in the final 2 minutes like that, and then, of course, pissing hot, which, put further black eye on him. Then, of course, just incessantly, even through all that scandal, talk nothing but shit about this man and that country. For him to walk into that country and then just come in and take the belt would have just been amazing. It would have been the greatest story ever.
Yes, only it would have been a story ending with his head on a friggin' spike somewhere, outside the soccer stadium. So,
listen, that doesn't happen that often. What's up, Steve?
Joe's such an evil genius that he's already got boys. He's got that other rival soccer team to back him up. He's got goons already. He's got minions waiting to get him out of there real quick. He's planned all this ahead.
He's just walking into that cage and go,
he knows what he's doing. He's ready for this.
Yeah, well, he's another guy I've seen point out his temple on more than one occasion, so I know he knows what to do. But I think we're gonna go to break here, and I guess we'll be back. Maybe. If you're good, people. Don't fucking misbehave or we'll pull the plug on this shit. And then we'll see who's laughing last, alright? So I don't want to hear any shenanigans. Alright, we'll be back in a little bit, boys.
Peace.
Com.
Jack Burton and the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there.
Like I told my last wife, I said, honey, I never drive faster than I can see. Besides that, it's all in the reflexes. Just listen to the old Pork Chop Express and take his advice on a dark and stormy night, all right? When some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against a barroom wall, and he looks the crooked in the eye, and he asks if you've paid your dues. Well, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
Shook the pillars of heaven.
You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
Jack Burton and the button, Jack Burton and the button, Jack Burton and the button, Jack Burton.
We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wayne?
No horseshit, Jack.
Fuck, I want to be Jack Burton. Jesus Christ, that man is a fucking living legend. If you're listening to The Butcher's Block, remember the call number is 347-326-9741. 347-326-9741. Hollow?
Hollow?
Fuck it. Oh my God.
I was fucking dying during Jack Burton remix. It was amazing.
I can't blame you. Listen, whoever fucking did the music for that, they stink. But the actual content inside that crappy, whoever fucking put that together, I don't even know what they used. It was something old, something not very good, and their beats blew. But you know what? You still hit a home run because of the
sound box were amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you needed. That's what sucked me in. You know, there was another one that somebody did that the beat sounded a little bit better, but it drowned Jack out. So I was like, fuck them. They don't get this. They don't get this at all. So I wish I could give credit, but when I ripped it, I decided not to look at your name. But good job.
Thank you for your hard work. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for making things easier for me. Suck my dick. That's what I got to say about that. Jack Burton. Who? Me. Oh man, I just want to hang up on you guys and put that movie in. I'm not gonna lie about that. I probably should play that clip. I can help you. Oh God, I fucking love that movie. I was trying to find sound clips, and that's how I came up with that, because I couldn't find anywhere where I could just rip straight Jack Burton. What do you call it? Quotes. I'm sure I could, but of course I'm a procrastinator, and I waited, only a few hours before the show when I really started trying to crank up finding things for the show. So that's what I came up with, and you know what? I think that was pretty much all of them anyway, so it works out perfectly.
Nice.
So I do. You know what they didn't have in there? The 6 demon bag thing. I just realized that. That's great.
Yeah.
What's in it, Egg? Fucking great.
Oh, man.
What more could you want? A 6 demon bag! That's great. What's in it, Egg? A fucking amazing movie.
It really is.
You know what? Maybe I'll just put that on, and I'll jack it all the way up, and then we can just sort of like fucking sit here, and we can all, you guys can listen to it, I'll watch it, and we'll just talk about it.
Yeah.
No?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
All right, then. Well, you guys should get your own
it.
copies then and do it.
Guys, these things, they got enemies, been called red purple. Holy shit.
And then they just fucking, what happened? Did they just do the drink? I didn't hear the clip.
It was Wang. These guys, these Sing Dings, Chang Sing, they got enemies, Wing Kong, who wear red turbans. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Oh, fuck. That is amazing.
Oh, God. They
One of
better
the
not
movies
remake
ever.
that. They better not remake that.
One of the best movies ever.
Yeah, I agree. And I will kill John Carpenter if he allows that to be remade. I always hear rumors every so often that Kurt Russell might reprise the role of Jack Burton, and I always got my fingers and toes crossed for that.
Well, yeah, if he does it, then it's okay. But if they just do like a remake, then I will never see it.
Yeah.
I've just experienced some very unreasonable things.
Unreasonable things. Oh, fuck. Back in your hole! It's all in the reflexes. It's like what Jack Burton always says.
Who?
Jack Burton. Me. Fucking great. Oh, my God. I want to watch that film. Jesus. I have to find that one. Get the 6 demon bag one.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm looking.
All right.
That's right, people. This show just completely came to a halt because I found a Jack Burton soundboard.
Guess what, people? This is it. If this goes on for 52 minutes, I don't give a fuck.
This isn't the 16 bag one, but this is another good one. Hold on.
All right.
Son of a bitch must
I love it. Oh, my God. What could you want, Egg? A 6 demon bag! I just love the way the dude delivers that line. It's amazing. Oh. And what was the shit called that they were drinking? That one's getting me.
I don't remember.
Oh, it's a shame. It's an elixir of whatever. I can't remember. Oh, God, I guess we should get back to MMA and end this fucker, huh? I'm so disappointed that Jack Burton isn't sitting here with me right now.
Sorry.
Jeez. That's all right. Listen, you can certainly try to be, but no one could ever be that cool, Billy, okay? It's just impossible, you know? The only guy who might come close to Jack Burton's coolness is Ashley J. Williams, okay? Also known as Ash, okay, from the Evil Dead series. He comes close. I don't know if he fucking can surpass Jack Burton, though. It's a little impossible. A little impossible. Well, anyway, I guess we'll hit back to the MMA. What do you call it here? We all know. Well, you know what? I'm not going to go there first. Fuck that. You know what else we like talking about on this show every so often? Pro wrestling. Okay? and so, you know, I figure we'll go there next because obviously we know Tito Ortiz has signed on for his trilogy, his third fight against Forrest Griffin. And you know, we all know it's the last fight on his contract. He's even came out and said this is his last fight. Of course, he wants to go out on a high note. You know, he hopes he can, you know, put on a good performance and beat Forrest, yada, yada, fucking yada. But, you know, he knows it's over. It's finally over. He's going to hang it up after 15 years. He's glad, you know, hopefully everything with the UFC is water under the bridge. You know, he would love to be offered a gig in the UFC front office, a nice cushy gig, kind of like his old training partner and guy who used to beat the balls off of him, Chuck Liddell. But there's another little wrinkle in here where Tito Ortiz has said he is pondering a possible future in the WWE a la Brock Lesnar. And I think this is amazing news because now that Brock is there to legitimize it, what else could help Brock legitimize it than having another mixed martial arts fighter come in and help him legitimize the WWE?
Fucking tag team champs right there.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Steve. Tag team champs, exactly. Because after Brock's done decimating John Cena, I believe on the 29th of this month, he's gonna fucking murder him. He's probably gonna need a tag team partner because I don't think they want to put the strap on Brock, especially not yet.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, you know, they're blowing their nut with Brock early, to be perfectly honest. All right? I mean, they dragged out the whole Cena-Rock thing for a full year before it paid off at WrestleMania. All right? Not to mention the fact that this pay-per-view is, 3 weeks after WrestleMania, where basically just about every wrestling fan that will ever buy a pay-per-view just bought a $60 pay-per-view, 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
Are they really going to spend another $60 this month to see Brock's first match back? Not to mention the fact that Brock is only going to be working a limited number of dates over the next 12 months. So for him to have already appeared 3 times in April, it's sort of like, okay, now you're going to have to slow down, I honestly think that maybe that they're using Brock as sort of a springboard to finally kill Cena's happy-go-lucky character.
Absolutely.
That this will be the final straw that actually breaks him from the rise above the hate bullshit that his character is all about.
Absolutely, Billy. You're right.
That he almost broke when The Rock beat him, and then. He sort of, did something that's not really John Cena-ish when he came out basically to brawl with Brock, 2 weeks ago. So I think that when Brock wins, and wins clean, by the way, it's not going to be any chicanery because to have him get a shitty win over Cena would just basically devalue Brock. I think that, that's finally, Cena's going to tell the crowd to go fuck themselves and maybe he's going to turn into an anti-hero. That, I sort of got off point, though. Tito Ortiz, what Tito Ortiz is actually doing here is he's trying to give himself the best possible payoff regardless of where he's going. Okay.
Sure.
Am I saying that Vince would not hire him? Sure, Vince would hire him because it would just be another former UFC champion that he could bring in to sell as a legitimate tough guy. And let's face it, Tito is a good flapping head. He knows how to sell a fight, so he probably would know how to sell a wrestling match, at least verbally. But what Tito is really doing, even though he has said, yeah, I think this is my last one, I want to go out on a high note, blah, 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 blah. On the offhand chance that he beats Forrest, and again, maybe Dana sees dollar signs with making another fight to Tito before letting him go off to greener pastures of, say, the WWE. By saying that the WWE is interested, that gives Tito a little more leverage in the negotiation room, after his next fight in the UFC. So I think that's what he's really trying to do. Tito's a businessman. Tito's trying to give himself the best leverage possible for when it comes time to talk to Dana about whether or not he's actually going to hang it up, or maybe he's got another fight or two left in him. So that's what I think he's actually doing.
Well, I definitely agree with you to an extent, Billy, but we all got to remember here that Tito did have a little bit of run, meaning one or two times he showed up in TNA, and by TNA I'm talking about wrestling people, not Cincinnati. All right, and he definitely sold himself as a tough guy there. You know, he did the wrestling thing, he did the promo shit, and you know, I mean, like you said, he's probably trying to get a decent contract, even if it's, you know, a fight or two, but I really don't think Tito can fight anymore. You know, as much as we make fun of him complaining about his injuries and shit, a lot of them are real, especially his back injury, and I think, you know, he really can't do it. So he's hoping for that cushy job in the UFC front offices, which would be better for him, because if he goes wrestling, he could really fuck his back up more, obviously. It's real shit. Oh, yeah. You know, obviously it isn't real fighting. You know, I don't want anybody to think I'm a fucking retard. But, you know, it is real bumps. People really do fall from big heights. And, you know, you can fuck yourself up royally. People have broken their necks. People have died. You know, so I don't think it's that great of a move, but maybe he feels he could make a cool $1 million or so for a year run. But I don't think he could even get that much, just because I don't think he's ever actually wrestled a match when he was over in TNA. And I think he did a little bit of work for Japan, you know what I'm talking about, NJPW. For some reason, I can't spit it out. So he's got a little bit of wrestling experience, but I don't think he can pull that kind of contract. What do you think of it, Steve?
Steve?
Hello? Uh-oh.
Did you lose him?
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
My
Jesus, dude. Where you been?
My phone keeps messing up.
Oh, okay.
It goes on mute and it won't unmute for some reason.
Oh, I see.
So, your thoughts on the Tito thing?
I've always been a Tito fan, so I wouldn't not watch it. I wouldn't be, like, enthusiastic about it, but I would check it out, probably, just to see how it goes. You know, kind of watch the car wreck as it happens. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I wouldn't be in favor of it. I'd just be indifferent at this point, because you really should probably just hang it up. But,
well, I think so, because what are they going to do? Put him in there with Brock? Brock will fucking put him in the F5. It's all over. Tito's crippled.
I mean, that's the thing that I'm thinking, too, is don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take anything away from Tito and what he did for, you know, MMA and all that type of stuff, you know, especially back when, you know, he was in his prime and whatnot, you know. He is one of the building blocks for the company. But
he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, definitely. They got to, you know, put him in there. They have to.
But, you see, the thing that Brock has over him is the fact that, I mean, he's not going to get the same kind of deal that Brock got from Vince, okay? Brock, you know, was a former WWE champion, multiple champion. You know, he was huge when he was there during his first run, all right? He was just fairly recently the UFC heavyweight champion after going in there and basically steamrolling his way into the championship. Sure, he only defended the belt twice and then lost twice. His last two fights were losses. But the fact is that he came in very short order, was at the top of the heap. Okay,
right.
Tito, on the other hand, while he's always been a star in the sport, you know, when was the last time that he held a title? When was the last time that you know, other than that freak occurrence with
Vader, the Master
with Vader, yeah. You know, when has he actually looked impressive in a fight? All right. Yes, he's still famous. Yes, he's still, you know, a big part of what the sport has become. But, you know, it's not like, you know, he's not coming off of a Brock type of run, so to speak, okay? So while he would still generate some interest, maybe sell some tickets, maybe even get a couple of people interested enough to buy a pay-per-view, he's not going to get you're going to get 32 dates over the next 8 months. That's all you're going to have to show up for, and here's, you know, a couple $1 million for your troubles. No, he's not going to get that kind of deal from the WWE. So again, I think he's just trying to put it into Dana's head that he has somewhere else to go when it comes down to negotiating what's next for him.
Yeah, but Dana, believe it or not, him and Vince are, kind of friendly with each other. So, if Vince ain't interested in him, he'll probably let it be known. If he is interested in him, he won't tell Dana a fucking thing. But if he isn't interested in him, I don't think he's going to be like, yeah, dude, I'm not taking this joke, or fucking do something for him. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Tito really would end up in the WWE, or do you think the UFC, even though supposedly it's all water under the bridge now, or do you think that they're going to give him a nice cushy job, or are they going to go, see you later, Tito, and then he's just going to hear this? Sorry, Tito, we got no jobs. We're all filled up here. Chuck Liddell is holding down the fort. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. You had a good run. Yeah, maybe we'll consider that Hall of Fame thing, all right? Okay, pal. Good luck in the WWE. What do you guys think? Think he's going to end up in this front office over there?
I think that if they do give him an office job, that they should make a reality show out of it and put his office right next to Chuck's.
Absolutely. Now, that's the kind of creative thought processing we need. Let me shut this off here. See, let's get this down on paper, because when Dana White tries to steal this from us, we're going to fucking sue him, since he's Mr. Sue Happy himself.
What were you going to say, Steve?
I was going to say, I think he'll get something, just probably not right away. They'll probably let him go and do other shit for a little. I don't think he'd go to WWE either, but, kind of just relax and kind of, get used to retirement, I'd say, for maybe a couple months, and then he might, bring him in on something, but I don't think, as soon as the last fight, Dana's going to offer him, something in the front office. I think it would probably be a couple months before he would get something.
Do you think they'll make him sweat, Steve, and then eventually relent, though, and give him something?
I don't think it's making him sweat. I just think,
burn those screws.
I think it's just, all right, you retire, take some time off, spend time with your family, do all your shit, and then, a little bit, if we have something open, you're a Hall of Famer, and you've, helped build the company, so yeah, we'll throw you a bone. I don't think it's going to make him sweat, though. I think it just, let him get used to being retired, because some guys can't stay retired, so, make sure that he's legitimately retired, and, and then you see where it goes from there. But I also don't see him I don't see him in WWE, though.
No, I don't know. Like I said, I'd have to look. I'm not 100% sure if he's ever worked a match before, but with his back problems and stuff, it probably would prove disastrous over time anyway. But, I guess they could. He is a name, he is a face. You can have him run around out there, and like we said, he could team up with Brock Lesnar. They could become the greatest tag team ever. You never know. But I do believe there's plans on having, after this whole Cena thing wrapping up with Brock at the end of the month, and we all know Cena's got to make the heel turn here. Billy, you're 100% right. You know what? I'm just going to forget about Tito now. Let's just talk wrestling. Cena's definitely making the heel turn there. He's going to be sick of it with all the booze and everything, but there's rumors after Brock's match with that apparently Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin has one match left in him, and that's going to be what they're going to set up for next WrestleMania between Brock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That is a match that Brock has said that he wanted. That if he had one person that that he could wrestle, if he were, this is when he was put in that the WWE game that they released late last year.
Right.
When he was doing the promo work for that, I think that's what they asked him. They asked him that if there was a sort of dream wrestling match, that what would it be? And he actually said Austin.
I don't blame him. Last time we seen him next to Stone Cold stuttered his ass, didn't he?
Yeah, and Stone Cold was the ref in that match. So
that's right.
So nice little send-off for Brock's last match in the company. You get thundered straight to hell by the guy who's supposed to be reffing the thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be down the middle. What's he doing? Putting his hands on the fucking athletes. That's not very professional. You know, I've never seen that before in wrestling, and I've never seen it since. So, you know, I really think Steve Austin was way out of line there. You know what I'm saying, boys?
Quick tidbit. Who was, I didn't realize, see, they're really sort of jumping the gun on this feud.
Okay.
Because Mr. Cena and Brock have a little bit of history.
Yes.
Brock was basically Cena's first main event feud. Back when he was still wearing, you know, the Kango hats and the chains, and he was a heel. When he was cool, when he was basically, you know, coming out rapping, making fun of everybody, calling people bitches and hoes.
You can't see me.
You know, and he would always lead the crowd into saying all of the curses that he couldn't say on TV. And his big thing was, you know, whoever he was fighting, because he always came out with the chain and the lock on it, and he would leave that in the corner. So, of course, you know, that was his go-to thing that, you know, anytime the ref wasn't looking, he would grab the chain and wrap it around his hand and knock you in the head with it. So I think this was one of the brief moments when Brock was wrestling that he was actually kind of a face, and Cena was the heel in the feud. And so yeah, I mean, you know, instead of blowing their nut on it in the first month, they could have at least done a couple-month program with these two jokers, considering that they actually have a history together.
Well, that's like in Brock's his most recent promo that he cut. He basically said that, you know, if I wouldn't have left 8 years ago, this kid would be carrying my bags into the arena.
That was a great little promo that they aired on Raw, you know, and I don't think any of it was actually scripted. I think this is 100% what Brock thinks.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. It was no doubt that's how he feels.
Fans, I'm here for money. You know, that right there is the most true statement I've ever seen in wrestling.
Yeah, it's
awesome. You know, did you also see that they leaked pictures of what Brock's in-ring attire is going to be, and instead of it being the nut huggers that he used to wear, he's going to come out looking
like UFC, right? Of course.
Yep, he's going to have gloves on. He's going to have the long shorts on. Yep, he's going to look like he's coming out for an MMA fight. So,
that's terrible.
If I can find the picture, I'll link it. Let's see.
Well, I'm going to put up that promo in the chat room. If I got it here. I don't have it here. Never mind. Oh, well, you know, you can't find everything. I'm too afraid to do too much on the computer because then it'll just crash and we got nothing.
Yeah, things just hit up.
Yeah, you know, there's too many technical difficulties on Monday. I don't want to fuck around again and have shit go wrong. But no, yeah, I hate it when they do that just because the guy happened to fight MMA. Is he going to come out fucking shoeless as well? Because at least when Jeff Jarrett went with it, he came out shoeless as well. Okay, and I got news for Brock. Jeff Jarrett is undefeated in mixed martial arts fights. Okay, it's legit. He did it all. I've seen it myself. I think that was last year or 2 years ago, Steve, when he was on that mixed martial arts run in TNA.
It has to be 2 years ago.
2 years?
Or like a year and a half ago, because I haven't really watched it over a year, so it has to be like a year and a half ago.
You still think Velvet Sky's breasts are amazing, or what do you think?
I'm pretty sure they still are.
Nice, yeah, that's what I'm going with, too. That's what I'm going to go with.
She needs to do some kind of topless photo shoot at some point soon so that people can just see those things. Just get it over with.
Well, I'm sure when she hears the show, if she's not listening right now, which I'm sure more than likely she is listening, she would probably do that. Or maybe she'd be willing to meet us to do an interview and then get topless.
All right. I like the way that goes.
All right. Well, I'll see what I can do. With the power of this show, it should be easy to set up, and I shouldn't have a problem.
You are the butcher. You can get it done.
All right. I finally found the Brock promo, so I'm going to put that in the chat room. There we go. Nice. There we go. All right. Oh, did you find it already, Billy?
I found the picture of his gear.
All right, well, here's the promo where he said that he's just an ass kicker. He's going to basically fuck John Cena's face up.
Yeah, I saw that on the Facebook. When you posted that, so I thought that was.
Oh, did I post that? I didn't even realize I did.
Mm-hmm. Or you liked it.
Nice. Look at Brock. He's still got his Brock boots, though.
Yeah.
Brock boots. All right. Well, at least he's got the Brock boots. I'm cool with that. But yeah, no. Listen. They needed something big. They needed to turn Cena, so this is the deal. He's going to get smashed by Brock because they jobbed him out to Prince Albert last week or something like that too.
Yeah, but there was a lot of interference from what I understand too.
Still, come on. The guy is supposed to be the face of that company, and all this shit's going on, so it's got to lead to one thing: him becoming cool again.
Well, no, I agree. I agree that might be one of these few slow burn things that they're doing, because instead of rushing things like they normally do and therefore ruining it, I think if they just automatically heel turned him, it would fall flat. So to do it sort of as all right, I'm still trying to be your buddy, but, things are, starting to build up and blah, blah, blah. By doing it slowly over time, it becomes, something would be, and I know that I'm about to use a retarded word when you're talking about wrestling, more believable. But I think that's what they need to do, because, again, right now the boos are pretty much, getting louder than the cheers, and he's the face of the company, and yet he's just as hated as he is loved, if not more so. So, I do think that they're moving towards that. The difference between him losing to The Rock or him losing clean to Brock, and his loss to A-Train, don't call me Albert, don't call me, Prince Albert, don't call me Lord Tensai, which, by the way, the one thing that I forgot to mention about him and his debut 2 weeks ago is that I remember that this man used to come down wearing a natural sweater.
Yes, he did.
When he was Albert, and they must seriously shave him when he's on the ramp, just about to come out, because there's no hair obscuring those stupid-ass tattoos that he has.
Stupid-ass tattoos and sweet nips, Billy.
So I think when you said that you thought that he had those tattoos in the past, I think you were just remembering him being darker in the chest and shoulder area because of the pelt that he used to wear.
Maybe, but, I told you how he had that one appearance when me and Steve were still watching TNA, and they fucking fired him right after that night because I never seen him again. But he had that one appearance where he came out in TNA, and then Abyss just smashed him. So maybe he had them then,
Who knows?
Maybe that's why I thought I seen him with those tats.
But the difference between him losing to Rock or losing to Brock is that there were two run-ins and a green mist involved in Cena losing to Lord Tensei.
Green mist is unbeatable.
Which, that's fine for the top, face in the company. All right, when you have two people getting involved and then, a foreign substance being used, and then you lose, it's not the same as being jobbed out to someone,
Who were the two run-ins by? Do you know?
Well, the first run-in was by the little Asian dude that comes out with Albert.
Nice, Mr. Fuji.
And the second one, yes, Mr. Fuji 2012, yes.
Version 2.0.
Yes.
Sorry, Matt Hardy. I had to.
Sorry, Matt. I'm sorry. The other one was by I can't think of the dude's name because I don't watch wrestling that often, but the Spanish-looking dude that runs around with John Laurinaitis. What the hell is this guy's name?
Is he the goofball?
Anyway. Huh?
Is he the goofball guy that everybody loves?
Goofball dude. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
okay.
He
now I thought he was face. I thought he was a face though. Now that dude.
We might not be talking about the same dude.
We can't be. Yeah, we can't be.
No. But no, he's basically John Laurinaitis' stooge essentially. So he came out and he was the second run in the match as well. So there was There were 3 things that caused John Cena's loss. It wasn't like he lost clean. So.
All right. Well, good for John, because you never want him to lose cleanly to a guy like fucking Prince Albert. Come on, the guy stinks.
He does stink.
I'm listening. Just my computer is going a little crazy. There we go. I'm back.
Gimmick. He's got a stupid gimmick that's going to fail because, half of the rednecks out in Middle America don't understand that he's supposed to be a dude that spent time in Japan and therefore is embracing Japanese culture. They're spending just as much time as I did going, this guy's not even Japanese. This guy's not Japanese. What's going on here? Even if they don't remember that he used to run around with, nipple piercings named Prince Albert and was part of a team with Test called TNA. Even if they don't remember him as Albert, they're just going to sit there going, guy's not Japanese. He's not. I don't get it. He's a fat white dude. He's not Japanese. So that gimmick's going nowhere. So.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I don't know why they brought him out as Lord Tensei. I thought they were trying to pass him off as Japanese, though.
No, I mean, the couple of clips that I've watched on the internet, the things that they keep having the announcers talk about is how, because he spent so much time over there in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and, he just became really absorbed in Japanese culture, and he wants to adhere to their traditions and blah, 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 and all this bullshit. So, even the announcers are trying to tell you, look, we know he's a white dude that, we've given a Japanese name, but it's because he loves Japan so much that,
that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So
that definitely makes sense, but,
this gimmick was imperfect back in 1987, okay, because that's when it was okay to spit green mist in people's faces, and, everybody loved it. So he probably would have been a huge heel back in 87.
I'm still going to go out on a limb here and say spitting green mist in people's faces, automatic W, automatic cool points, my friend. There's no way. There's no way you're like, come on, man. When Mr. Fuji was out there, that was the best when he was spitting green mist in people's faces.
And that actually solidifies my point, because the only reason that we're talking about modern wrestling right now is because Brock Lesnar is in it and causing us to pay attention to it. Because the only other times that we've really talked about wrestling, we've talked about either dead or insane past their prime wrestlers. Okay, so most of the time when we're talking about wrestling, it's about guys who haven't actually, hooked it up in about 20 years because they're taking a dirt nap, or 70-year-old dudes who, still occasionally do a high school show here and there, or have a reality show pilot where they threaten to kill a band. Those are the wrestlers that we usually. Those are the wrestlers that we usually talk about. It's not like we're so of course you're on board for this green mist spitting gimmick, because that was all the rage back when you were 12. So.
All right, good point. I wasn't looking at it that way, but yeah, I guess you're right. It's got some connections with the whole Brock thing, and then of course some of the old school angles going on. But I don't know. I guess that's exactly why we're talking about it.
The only cool angle going on.
The angles. But I guess maybe we'll venture back over to MMA. I don't know, We got, 20 minutes left? I guess we should throw some more MMA into the show.
Yeah, some MMA. Why not?
All right. Well, then I guess we'll go on over. We'll mosey on over to a place called Strikeforce or the B-Leagues. Call it what you will. I know, I have to say it. It's the B-Leagues, and it's going to be folded soon. It's got to be. But what do you call it? We all know Nate Marquardt got recently signed, so Zuffa definitely is welcoming him back to the family. It's just his stepping stone on his way back to the UFC. Whoops. Still thinking about WWE here. But he just came out and said, which something that I think I might have said or somebody said on the show, that his first fight was probably going to be for the vacant Strikeforce welterweight title, and he feels the same way, that him and Tyrone Woodley are going to lock up for that welterweight belt. What do you guys think? Steve, do you think that Marquardt should walk right into a title fight over there, or do you think he should have had at least one fight under his belt? Nothing, Steve?
Steve's phone is screwing up again.
All right. I'm going to have to hang up on Steve because I can't keep throwing it over to him and then get to there. So, all right, Billy, do you think Nate Marquardt should have walked right into a title shot, or do you think he should have had to fight somebody first, even though there's nobody in Strikeforce? So, of course,
that was actually going to be my exact point. That was going to be my exact point. The thing is that there's really nobody over in Strikeforce, okay? And if you were going to give Nate sort of like a qualifier or a tune-up match or something to that effect, you never know if the person's going to be fired for, an inflammatory tweet against a, athletic commission person, or, if they're all of a sudden going to be headhunted by the UFC and then no longer be, fighting over there anymore. So I think, to be honest with you, the fact that the strap is vacant, they need to put it on someone, so they may as well put it on somebody who fought in the A-League, and somebody who was considered a contender that's over in the B League. So I think, obviously, if this were the UFC that we were talking about, he wouldn't have walked directly into a title shot. All right. He would have had to have maybe one or two fights before fighting for the strap. But considering the roster woes that they have over there in that organization, they're just happy to have anybody fighting for the title at this point, So I don't think they have the luxury of having a fight leading up to the fight. I mean, look at the bullshit with the heavyweight Grand Prix. Okay, this thing's been dragging on forever. They've been trying to put this belt on somebody, and then right after they put the belt on someone, they're probably going to lose their champion to the UFC anyway. I think there's no more heavyweight division. Right. I think the sooner they put the belt on someone, the sooner they can have, number one contender matches, title defenses, things of that nature. So I think it was probably the best move that they could make. Whether or not I think Nate should be fighting for a title, his first fight back or not, is sort of irrelevant. I think it's really the only move they had.
It makes sense. It definitely is, because, I mean, you could get Cyborg Santos' ex-husband there, but, I mean, that guy's got a mediocre record. I think he's 500. He fought Nick Diaz for the title, and that was just because they had nobody to fight. Nick Diaz, when Nick Diaz was still the welterweight champion. I mean, there's no reason on earth that Santos should have gotten a title shot. He's of course, I mean, I'm not stupid. He's a professional fighter. He can kick most people's asses. He's definitely a tough dude. He loves to bang. He goes to war and shit. But did he deserve a title shot? No, because nobody's there. Paul Daly has lost 2 in a row. He was the big name who used to be a UFC guy. And then he fucked himself by throwing that sucker punch at Josh Koscheck. He goes over there. Nick Diaz not only beats him, but beats him at his own game. Then Tyrone Woodley fucking humps him around the cage to beat him. And then, I can't remember the dude's name, who I didn't even give a chance to beat. Paul Daly just beat him recently. So, I mean, that was their other big welterweight name that isn't there anymore. Obviously, Tyrone Woodley, he deserves the shot because he's undefeated and he's put the work in, but unfortunately, he's looking a bit like he's definitely wants to play the safe game and laying prey on people, I mean, he's definitely got heavy hands. When he can use them, he will, but if he knows he's completely outclassed on the feet, which he will be against Nate Marquardt, he's going to try to get it to the ground, but the thing is Tyrone's going to have a fucking hard time doing that because Marquardt's a pretty good wrestler in his own right, and if you remember, Marquardt used to fight at middleweight. So he should be a lot stronger at welterweight. But you're 100% right. He's a big name, big enough name. I do kind of think he deserves it as well. I just wanted to see your opinion. But, I mean, who else do they have to fight for that belt? I mean, they have, what, three vacant belts, right? 2 vacant belts? Yeah, because they got rid of the heavyweight division, so that technically doesn't exist anymore. But they have no light heavyweight champion, and they have no welterweight champion, you know. So, and technically they have no featherweight champion for the women's division. So, yes, they have 3 vacant belts in Strikeforce. That's kind of ridiculous that we haven't found a solution of this yet.
Yeah, okay. The women's, the featherweight division, there's no champion. The welterweight belt is vacant. The light heavyweight belt is vacant. The heavyweight belt is vacant. So they've got 4. They've only got
they still
3
list
champions.
that?
Huh?
They still list the heavyweight belt even though the division doesn't exist anymore?
They don't actually list it anymore, but yeah, I mean it's the Grand Prix is so no, they don't actually list it anymore. They have they have 3 vacant belts, that they actually have listed. So
right. I mean, they might still list. You might be, you know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. Maybe they're going to anoint the Grand Prix winner the last heavyweight champion.
I thought that was the whole point of the heavyweight Grand Prix was to put the belt on somebody.
Well, at first, Billy, if you remember, I mean, Alistair Overeem was involved in the tournament. He's the champion. I didn't really understand what the tournament was about if the champion had to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just to, like, name a Grand Prix winner, who I guess then, after everybody recuperated, unless it was Overeem who won the whole thing, once they recuperated and could set the matchup, they were the number 1 contender now, if it wasn't Overeem who won the Grand Prix. But how does that even make your champion look good? You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It didn't really make a shit ton of sense to me how it was structured to begin with anyway. Overeem could have been fighting on the side of the tournament, and then, you know, he's set to face the winner of the tournament. But, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe they're going to anoint the guy, the Grand Prix winner, last heavyweight champion of Strikeforce, boom, the division's closed. Then they're over in the UFC, you know. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. But, you know, for a promotion to have that many vacant belts, that was, for a little while, a fairly legitimate promotion, even though I know Zuffa bought it and kind of has taken its legs out from underneath it and stuff. You know, they should still have those belts fucking being held by people. I mean, you still got Mousasi in the light heavyweight division. You know, there's a few options there that you could go with to put up there and fight for that title. So, I don't know. It's just it's mind-boggling. You know what I'm saying?
Did you just say mind-boggling?
Yeah, I did. You know, like when your thoughts get all trapped in your head like a bottle.
Oh, Will Ferrell.
Oh, Will Ferrell.
You silly bastard.
What's that?
You silly bastard.
Yes, you silly bastard. I'm going to try this one more time, and if I don't get a response, then I'm going to hang up. Steve, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still listening.
Oh, you're still listening? Oh, yeah. Okay. If you want, I'll leave you in my face. Oh, I see. Well, if you want, you can go. I mean, we can finish the show. It's not a big deal. I just didn't want to throw it over to you again, and then... All right. All right, then. So do you want me to throw it over to you, or no? Do you just want to eat?
No, you can throw it over. I'm pretty much done now, so...
Oh, sweet. Okay. All right, then. Well, I'm going to move on to the next topic, then. Or unless you got something to say about Nate Marquardt getting his title shot. Well, it hasn't actually been confirmed yet. He believes, is the way he put it, that it's going to be for the welterweight title.
Yeah, disagree with what you guys already said. What else are you going to do?
No other move there, really. That's 100% right. But, I mean, there's nobody else there. Now, to move on to one of the real champions in Strikeforce, Gil Melendez. Basically, he's come out and said he's trying to make the best of his remaining time in Strikeforce. And he really wanted, you know, a big name and top talent to fight, which kind of is a insult to poor Josh Thompson, who won his title eliminator to get his third fight with Gil. This is a trilogy of fights. They both have a win over each other, and Josh Thompson is actually a pretty good fighter, in his own right. So, but he basically is disappointed because he wanted to be in the UFC, and then of course he was trying to get them to bring people over to fight him. I agree with Gil on all his points, but I'm getting a little sick of it. I feel it's a little sour grapes. He's the one who signed that big contract. Steve, what do you think? Do you think you should keep complaining and basically saying how he's not getting to fight top talent, or should he just finish out that contract? Because he's going to the UFC as soon as it's over. So, I'm getting a little sick of hearing. I really wish I would have gotten a top fighter here. He signed that contract. What do you feel?
I think he should shut up because, God forbid he loses. Now not only did he lose and he's not as marketable as he was before, but now he sounds like an idiot too because he was complaining and bitching and then he lost anyway. So it makes him look even worse. So, just finish it out. Make sure you win out so that you don't ruin your legacy or anything like that, and then go to the UFC. You're going to get there eventually. Just calm down and, play it out. But if you keep whining and complaining and then, something crazy happens and he loses, now he's going to look like terrible because not only did he lose, but, he looked like a whiny bitch and he lost anyway. So just play it out and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you because, I think Gill's going to win this fight again. I think the first fight, Josh, he won. He definitely earned the victory. But, Gill definitely took care of business the second time. And, I think Gill's the better fighter overall. I think he's going to win this fight. But, like you said, if he loses, he's going to look like an idiot because basically without actually coming directly out and saying it, he's saying that the guys that he set up to fight in Strikeforce are subpar. What do you feel, Bill?
I think that any fighter who basically derides the level of talent that they have to face in whatever organization they've signed a contract with is basically just shitting where they eat. I understand wanting to test yourself and wanting to be on a bigger stage and wanting to fight the upper echelon of competition, but this is also a sport where they constantly shove down your throat about how much you always respect your opponent and how much mutual almost love there is for the guy across the cage from you, and for you to basically take a shit on everybody that you're facing by pissing and moaning that you're not getting to fight the great fighters is not smart because if there's not anybody selling each one of your victories as a hard-fought victory against a game opponent, if you're not doing it, nobody else is really going to do it for you either. And if you're sitting there basically implying that, of course I'm winning because all these guys suck,
right.
And how far away are you from, basically convincing everybody else too that, so he should just be quiet. You are 100% right. The dude signed a contract extension when basically the writing was already on the wall that, Strikeforce was on his last legs, and he should have just said, you know what, no, I'm not going to sign, because I think greener pastures are sooner rather than later. And he signed a contract extension. So it's his own, like you said, it's his own damn fault that he is where he is. So if he was really making the best of his situation, he would be keeping his mouth shut. And just basically being like, no, hey, I'm happy where I am. I'm the champ. They keep putting good guys in front of me, blah, blah, blah. You'd be a team player because I don't know. I mean, of course, Dana's going to, sign him anyway when the time comes and put him in the ring.
Absolutely.
But if he, there's always going to be that, well, he did talk shit about the people he was working for, and he was working for us at the time. And again, you just sort of, you're killing your own value by running your mouth like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's all I have.
There's a couple of quick things that I want to hit because we don't have much time left before I'm going to close it down. First thing, I just want to say, Aaron Simpson, former middleweight, is going to be making his welterweight debut against John Fitch. Real quick, what do you think, Billy? Do you think Aaron Simpson is going to fucking find it hard to sled? Make it quick.
I think we're going to see John Fitch do what he normally does, and that's make it boring and lay and pray, and he's going to grind the guy. I think he's going to have a bit of a time with Mr. Fitch.
Absolutely. Steve, what do you think?
I don't know. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and call it a John Fitch decision.
Great call. I'm going to say the same thing.
They're both wrestlers, and John Finch is one of the best wrestlers in MMA. So it's going to be a little tough. It's going to be a little tough for him to make it through him. And he's a bit of an older guy, so it isn't going to be easy for him to pull that one out. And the second thing, we're going to make quick. I'm just going to comment on this, and then the last thing I want you guys coming on. But Rashad apparently is getting pointers from Roy Jones Jr. leading up to his fight with John Jones. So I'm really ashamed of myself for picking Rashad to win against John Jones on Monday night now, because I'm starting to think that if he's taking lessons from Roy Jones Jr., Roy Jones ain't what he used to be. He doesn't have the quickness anymore, so it's going to be tough. But glazing over that, real quick, Hector Lombard has been offered a contract by the UFC. He's the current middleweight champion of Bellator. His contract is up. Bellator says they may counter it. Now, apparently, the fucking contract is 90, I forget how many pages long. They want to go over it. What do you guys think, real quick? Billy, do you think Bellator has any chance of keeping Hector Lombard here?
Probably not. I mean, obviously their pockets aren't as deep. It's a 60-page document. They're not going to be able to, even if they could come close to the money, there's probably things in there that the UFC is offering that they just probably don't have the ability or even would be willing to give. Not that the UFC is going to offer this dude the sun or anything like that, but I just don't think that they really would have the ability to come close to what the UFC would be offering. So probably not. We'll probably see him in the
I agree with you. Steve, what do you think? Do you think they can pull it off?
Probably not. The only chance I say they have is if they kind of make him the face of the company and wrap everything around him, because otherwise, if he goes to the UFC, he's just another fighter, and he's going to have to prove himself. But if they make him, the face of Bellator, then maybe that might be enough to, say, hey, prove your worth here, and you can, then challenge them later. But probably not, though.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Listen, somebody said it best on one of the message boards. What's better for you? This is the reason why this guy thought Hector might stay, because what's better for you, going to the UFC and getting knocked the fuck out, or staying at Bellator, being the face of the company and having cans put in front of you to crush? So, he's an exciting fighter, but he's kind of small for a middleweight, and, I don't want to undersell the guy. He's an exciting, tough fighter. He probably will have some success, but I'm not so sure he can compete at the top of that middleweight division in the UFC. But, of course, I still think they're going to sign him because it's better money and a better deal. But that's about it, boys. I'm going to wrap it up. Anything else to say?
No, that's about it. You hear Dana and the UFC were going to sue Cage Potato over a joke that they said that, Dana, they implied Dana was betting on John Jones too?
Oh, no, I didn't, but
we'll have to talk about that another time. All right.
Yeah, we'll bring that up next week. All right, everybody, remember to check out Roto Experts. Check out the xlog.com. Check myself out at Cauliflower 4, the number 4 ear on Twitter. Check out Bill Brown at BillBrown1777 at Twitter.
Close enough.
Check out Stephen Captain Solo 07 at Twitter. Also, you can check me back out on Monday on Cauliflower for the ears, back on this here station. And that's pretty much it, boys. We's out of here.